This is Pod Populi, podcasts for the people.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice or be a substitute for therapy. Please contact a mental health professional as needed. If you are in need of urgent or emergency health care, please contact your medical and/or mental health provider, call 911, or go to your nearest emergency room. The information presented in this podcast does not reflect the opinions of those with whom Dr. Ellick might be affiliated as an employee, consultant, or colleague, past or present. Hello, and welcome to another episode of From Mayhem to Mindset with Dr. Laura. I am your host, Dr. Laura Ellick, and hello, Craig.
Hello, Dr. Laura.
I have with me today Craig Feit, who I have not seen. It's got to be in about 5 years, 4 years?
Yeah, yes.
It's been quite a while. So, Craig and I met. Where did we meet?
I was working at Recovery Unplugged, and I was giving tours.
Right.
And I called you to see if you wanted a tour and a free lunch, and you said sure.
Who turns down a free lunch? Okay, but I also remember that the facility was amazing. Really amazing.
I'll be honest with you. I from the thing on excellent. Beautiful. They treat their, to stay positive. That was an excellent place if somebody had to go.
Yeah.
I don't wish it on anybody.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful, beautiful facility.
And then shout out to them.
Then you and I connected, and then COVID got in the way, and you were on a journey apparently. So
I've been on a journey.
Yeah, tell us about your journey.
I just finished the book.
So yeah, you got to show people the book because
that's kind of why I got here, right?
That's why you're here.
All right, so it's healing through nutritional frequency and self-awareness. This is like toward the end of the rabbit hole of healing for me. I will say, though, with the frequency, I liked at the beginning the sound healing. I was going to like drum circles, like when I was going, and energy and the sound healing. Also, I went down the rabbit hole with the pyramids were healing chambers.
Well, so go back for a second.
Yeah,
so when we met, you were giving tours at Recovery Unplugged, and then you went on this healing journey. What started it? What were you trying to heal from? Was it burnout? Was it?
Excellent question.
Because a lot of people went down the rabbit hole during COVID. I mean, we can't lie. It was a rough time, and a lot of people just decided, I'm going to redo my life, man.
That's the year I decided to stop living a healthy life during COVID. COVID hit me. I was like, okay,
it's time.
It was time, and I actually did my 7 days during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And this one wasn't a pleasant place. Like, as nice as things I could say about Recovery Unplugged, this was like in the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was bad. And that was unfortunately, the way I was introduced to the industry. And it made me pretty, you're angry at first. Mm-hmm. And then when you do it after the rabbit hole, and then just sound healing and understanding that certain energies heal ailments, and I'm very homeopathic. The allopathic way I find to be pretty sad. And, I did the rabbit hole in 1913. Rockefeller bought all of the medical places, and he had professors just to get the curriculum. And alternative medicine became anything that wasn't allopathic became alternative medicine to make it sound like kind of flaky.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Then it became complementary, where it's kind of like, all right, we're going to allow you guys to be here as long as you're mixing what you're doing with a real doctor, right? And now there's functional medicine, which I think describes it much better. It's talking about the body as a whole and how the body functions. Everything. Mind, body, spirit.
And what's terrific, if you want to heal, this first thing is getting your body. And I studied Kabbalah the last couple of years. I think everybody took the October 7th massacre a different way. As a proud Jewish guy, I wanted to, I learned more Kabbalah, so I study Kabbalah every Sunday with some friends from Israel. And Kabbalah has a theory, and this is what resonated with me, and this is kind of a great segue to how this happened. You're a vessel. Kabbalah, they use vessel as a body, okay? And it's your responsibility to take care of your vessel, okay? That's what I try to explain. And the ideology, the whole thing is, how much light can I let in? So negative thoughts aren't so being positive is one thing, but then let's just talk about the one thing you could control, because your mind's so fucked up. Usually, most people, you're messed up. So
well, you got to remember the name of this podcast is From Mayhem to
You're
Mindset.
mayhem.
So we're all about
changing
chaos
right.
due to your mindset, changing your mindset.
And what I said, the only thing I was able to control was what I was eating. All right? So I believe that everybody has that too, okay? You always could control what you eat. And I know that's your...
Mm-hmm. To the extreme, it becomes an eating disorder. But yes, absolutely. So, we can, change our health by changing a lot of things.
I actually been eating kosher. Mm-hmm. But the reason isn't because I like to know things. Now, according to Kabbalah, you have a responsibility, and your soul's different. I think more anti-Semitism than, I guess, Jews are different, evidently, but look at the positive way you're different. You have a soul, but it's your responsibility. That's why you're like the chosen person to live the way, like a good person. Now, if you don't eat kosher, it blocks your vessel. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It blocks it.
So that's the theory behind it, right?
So if you have like shrimp in your body or a bacon cheeseburger, you're not going to have as much light if you just had the burger.
See, I was taught it's unclean, but I never knew the reason why.
Okay, that's one reason. But now this is another amazing thing when I go down. The way you kill a kosher animal, okay, it's done in a way that releases the least amount of cortisol and stress hormone.
Because that's going to have an effect on the quality of the meat too, right?
You are what you eat.
There you go.
So if you're eating, this is what I try to say, like all these, like the chickens or whatever it is, if you're eating, they're nervous or this and that, that's in them. So you're eating their nervousness. So the idea behind kosher is you're trying to kill the animal in the most pleasant way, or like least amount of trauma. Mm-hmm. Okay. The least traumatic way to kill somebody.
Sure.
And that's what you're eating. So that's what clicked for me. And my friend in Israel, I've known him since we're 12 years old. That's what it took for me. So it's living it. And then after your body's done, but there's so much.
So you started with eating differently. You started with cleaning your mind.
Yes.
Right.
With rereading and relearning. Relearning things, because I go to education for so long. And what was resonating with me, because that's what it was. I read until something resonated with me, which wanted me to be a better person.
Gotcha. Okay, so the mindset was everything that I'm doing is going to help me be a better person, which by extension, you're then going to spread that to the rest of the world, correct?
It was what resonated with me. So this is just for me. Everyone has their own way, all right? Like, I never went to a meeting. I find that to be cultish in a way. But listen, the way it was introduced to me, some bad people. Bad people.
But they often say there's multiple paths to recovery. It's whatever happens to work for you in your journey.
Exactly, and that's where you go with what resonates with you. So if Buddhism, whatever religion, it doesn't matter, you call him Hashem, you call God, whatever it is. That guy, he's got the highest IQ in America. You ever see, he's like, I can't think of his name, he's got like a mustache, he works at like farm, just very basic.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they asked him what's the most important thing. And this is the smartest man in the world, said to try to build a relationship with God. Mm-hmm. So I think the reason that I eat kosher is because of all my guilt of what a lunatic I lived like, or just not following the laws of being a good human. But that's been a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about vibration, because I'm so into this, because I did a lot of work. I studied Reiki. I did Reiki for a while.
That's awesome.
Reiki 1. I didn't go any farther than that. But I also did a lot of work with essential oils. And at the time, I shared an office with a chiropractor. And we used to talk about how every essential oil vibrates at a different level. And so illness in your body, the theory goes, occurs when your organ is vibrating at a certain number. So cancer occurs when you're vibrating at a certain number. Below that number, it's all health. Now, one of the things that he had said was that there was somebody, I can't remember the name, an early chiropractor or something, who had said that if you can vibrate a cancerous tumor, it will explode or disappear or whatever. And then he said they killed that guy off because somebody came after this guy and killed him because he had the cure for cancer. And from a monetary perspective, you know, nobody really wants a cure for cancer. So listen, I'm just saying this. This is like, you know, this is all of these kind of runaway theories and stuff. So it's not necessarily, I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
So tell me what you know about that.
Oh, let's just say you just hit RFK Jr., who I liked. I was like, all right, so there's no money in healthy children, no money in healthy adults. There's money in vaccines. There's money in illness. So your frequency, there was actually a study done in Japan where they did like Beethoven 380 something, and
Interesting.
And it bursted a tumor.
Oh, wow.
So I agree with you. Like healing chambers that they used to have back when they were in ancient, okay, under a pyramid, there was a healing chamber, and they would match the frequency to your ailment. It was all about frequency.
So how did we get so lost? Do you know?
Yeah, 1913, Rockefeller.
When he brought in traditional.
What happened was Rockefeller, they made him, he had a monopoly on oil. Okay. And they said, nah, no good. So he said, oh, okay, guess what? All right. So he realized he could make money by allopathic medicine, which is just, but he changed the entire curriculum. He paid off professors, schools to write literature. This is how it all happened. 1913, he took over Western medicine. That is Western medicine.
Right.
I read more like when I see like a prescription to Japanese, like in Japan. Take a walk in the forest. Hug a tree.
Wait, when was the last time you hugged a tree?
Not that far long ago.
Really?
Yeah, I will say this. I take walks in this little state park, and, you know, I look around. I don't really want someone to see me hug the tree. So,
What the hell? I'd hug a tree. Why not?
you know,
If you guys see me hugging a tree, you know what I'm doing.
You're grounding.
Grounding.
And it's phenomenal. But I hugged a tree within the last couple weeks.
What'd you feel? I mean, you're feeling the bark, obviously, but come on, guys. That's going to be like the joke. But what are you actually feeling?
I felt the bark. I allowed myself to just try to appreciate what it was. And of course, like, you know, if you put your hand up with me, you'll feel it.
Oh, yeah, there's an energy.
You know, right.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so same kind of thing with the tree.
Right.
So that kind of feeling, I would say, if I had to. But I like to, realize what's going on, like the amount of, what is this tree? This tree's amazing. You know, a tree gives you a shade. So it's really connecting with nature.
So you put all of what you've learned in a book.
It's not all of it, but this is more than nutrition and diet. Okay, so in Kabbalah they call it nemesh, which is just getting your physical. Okay, and then there's the next level is emotion. But you got to get your physical first. So this really just concentrates on that. It touches, though, like, for me, stoicism and Kabbalah. It's like you said, one of the rules of stoicism is to align with nature. That's what Marx, you're aligning with nature, living a life of virtue. And listen, I'm the most unhypocritical. I teach what I preach. If I say that, it's. But I think that's great that you're so aware of the vibrational healing. And I think it has to be more mental. There's got to be ways to work this into, you know, grounding. Grounding's the answer. You want your frequency to be better? You go grounding.
And I think there's a lot of ways that we can do that. You know, when I rose oil, I have rose oil from Young Living. Those are the oils that I happen to use. I have like 300 oils. Well, I like white angelica. That's my favorite because it reminds me of the angels, and I find that grounding. But the rose oil has the highest frequency of any oil.
It's
So
amazing.
it's a very small bottle that cost a ton of money, so I
Okay.
use it sparingly. But when I put it on and smell it,
You put it right like on your
I
wrist?
put it on my neck so
Yeah.
I can put it on my wrist so I can smell it all
Yeah, yeah,
day.
yeah.
There's an automatic sensation of, okay, like I already feel calm because like roses smell good too, right? But I think like when you are doing good things like that, it also helps to change your mindset into one of health and healing. So if I do that, if I walk outside, if I talk to good people, if I call it think positively, but I also tell people it's got to be realistic. You don't want to just blow smoke up someone's butt, right? You have to have the mindset of, I can do this, it's possible, right? There may be obstacles, but you can still do it. There's a way around it. And I think that's very different from telling kids everybody gets a trophy, which is how we kind of have been. Like, everything is wonderful, you're wonderful. We're not preparing people for adversity that way, but that's a separate story.
I think we're coming back.
Yeah, I think so
I think
too.
this world culture kind of wore itself out.
So I think all of these things that we can do can actually set the tone to help us develop a sense of being grounded and good vibration. Do you surround yourself with good people? I can feel vibration of an individual from miles away.
Let me ask you then. When they asked you when I was doing therapy, like, don't you feel like the online therapy, you just don't get what you should out of it because you get. Do you have mixed feelings about
I
that?
have mixed feelings about
Yeah.
it. I was one of those people pre-COVID that online therapy would never work.
Okay.
However, it's increased compliance rate,
Good.
right? Because people don't get stuck in traffic.
Okay.
The other thing that I was telling someone the other day is I have teenagers who are so excited to show me their bedroom or to show me the dress they're wearing
think
for
of it that way.
prom, or they let me into their life in a very different way.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. So I
great way to
learn more about them and they get to be a little
Sure.
bit more vulnerable, which you would never know.
That's great.
Otherwise, that this person has a salt and pepper shaker collection. Like, it would never come up.
Did any patient have a salt and pepper?
No, I just
collection?
made that up.
I was just wondering. Like,
But yeah, but you get to see somebody like in their home environment.
Yeah.
I'm very good at picking up energy, but I could
that's
see
what I
how some people would say, "Oh, does it block it?" But really, energy is all around us, whether it's on the screen or not.
Everything is energy and frequency. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you get your body's frequency in line, and you know what? It's yoga, like the lost art, like it's so important when people are getting healthier. And it's not just yoga. What yoga represents, it's getting to know your body again. That's really, people say, why do I, when I felt that yoga was felt, I love this. Like, you're getting to know your body, you're reintroducing yourself.
So here's a theory that I have, and you can tell me what you think about this, but people who struggle with addiction,
Yes.
I think it's a disease of disconnection from the body, disconnection from emotion, disconnection from spirit.
I think you, all of the above, you have to save your soul.
So in your journey, you started where?
In what respect?
Like, in your journey, did you say, I got to get my mindset straight first, I want to get my health straight first, or did you work on everything together?
You know something? I read a lot. I was angry for a while. So it took a while to get the anger going because I knew as confident that when I stopped, I stopped. I'm different. I guess it's that 1%. Didn't matter what place. I just wanted a medical supervision so I wouldn't die. I was different.
Mm-hmm.
But I started doing, my body was done. So I wanted to feel strong. So, walking, exercising, and eating right. That was the first. And reading different things. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I have an important question
Yes.
about the body, and we will get to that question right after this break. Okay, so we're back. So here is the question that I have for you.
Yeah.
Everybody says this, whether it's an eating disorder,
Yes.
whether it's an addiction.
Yes.
I'm done. My body is done.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're done?
Okay, I guess everyone's different with that.
Right. I hear some themes. There are some similar themes. How did you know you were
I
done?
physically was just done.
What does that feel like?
Horrible.
Did you think the next step was death, or did you look in the mirror and say, I don't recognize this person?
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That guy's not an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that you were. Weak. You start off really weak. You know, and unfortunately, you have to be a real big self-advocate. You got to really be strong with what your strengths are. But that was my start, was the physical. But it took me, I'm telling you, it took a long time. I think the word that I use, and people don't use this word, but it hits it. I had postpartum psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I read about, like, try to understand why I had postpartum psychosis just from the years of drinking and substance abuse. My mind was shambles.
Mm-hmm.
It was scary.
I bet it was.
Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
did you know at the time, or did other people say to you, hey, like, there's something going on? Because a lot of times people don't know at the time.
I was a lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
I was an absolute lunatic. No one had to tell me I was a lunatic.
So you knew you were a lunatic.
Oh, I was out there being a lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just, I lost it. But I worked so hard in yoga, and I'd say if there's one thing, I became a calm person. I no longer have a temper, which I had a really bad temper, which just got exacerbated after all of that. So it was scary to me to realize I don't have control over my anger.
How long
That
did it
scared
take
me.
your brain to reset?
How long are we going right now? It's
Yeah.
still resetting, I think.
Yeah, it can take a while.
I think physically, it's it reset. I would say realistically after like the year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, 2 solid years of starting. But it's like evolving still evolving. I try to learn something every day.
So what keeps you, I like to say motivated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's just discipline, but is there something that keeps you motivated to keep going?
There is one. Yeah, I have wow, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a daughter that's 18. I saw her when she was 8. It was an 8-year battle. The mother left. I was a substance abuser, whatever it may be, but she didn't let me see my child. And I went through lawyers and lawyers and lawyers.
For 10 years.
8 years of fighting, and I gave up. I said, something, it's going to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't. It was a way that my lawyers, whatever it was, I wasn't a good. Like I wasn't strong enough for it, so I can't really blame this and that. And also, what the growth is when you process things. The hatred she had toward me I gave that to her. Mm-hmm. She was a wonderful person. The baby mama. Can we use that? Baby mama?
We can use baby mama.
My baby mama is a really great woman. So I've promised myself that if my daughter ever reaches out to me, the day she phone calls, I'm going to be lucid. And I never know when that will be. So that day, and that's what, there's no question for me. Mm-hmm. No question for me.
So has that day happened yet?
No, it hasn't.
Does baby mama know you're clean and in a good place?
I don't think baby mamas would be happy that I survived it, quite candidly. She probably wished death upon me. So like, it was serious hatred. It's okay. Like I had to process that because it was my fault. It made her so angry. So that's something I live with. But that will keep me sober. And then when I'm or lucid or whatever word you want to use, I don't believe in abstinence. I think people have lost their minds when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. I believe everyone should go, But I'll be lucid the day my daughter reaches out to me, and that will keep me. That keeps me strong.
I hope your daughter sees this.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because I think it would be really important for people who knew you then to see you now.
Different person. I hate that. I don't like that. Like, I buried that person. That's what I try to say to people. A person's buried. You know what it is? You don't realize you're sick when you're sick.
That's often the case, yeah.
You don't realize how sick you are. Like, you asked me before, did I realize I was crazy? Yes. I was lucid, sober, aware that I was a lunatic. Yeah. And, so what was I saying about that? So it's the same kind of thing. But what was your question? That made me go to that. I'm sorry.
So we were just talking about, like, staying grounded, staying motivated, staying like, how do you know?
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
You don't, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't know you're crazy. Like, I wouldn't in a million years think of doing the things I did under substances.
Right.
And people don't realize it's not even when you're doing the drugs. It's not like, you party tonight, you went out, you got drunk, it's just that night. No, you're rewiring your brain. And I've become a critical thinker over time. I don't think that other people, and this is the one that help everybody, realize what it does to your body. Like, I don't get substance abuse with the fentanyl thing. I mean, me and my friends, we didn't say, hey, we're going out. Do you have that? Someone grab the Narcan in case we die. That wasn't it.
It's a different world.
Yeah, it was like, all right, you got the tequila, like. So I don't get that. That's death.
It's next level.
Next level. And when I was in the world, when I was working with people, and I realized the person that did the best was the guy like the fentanyl that killed somebody. So his sales would go up. But
because they knew he had good shit.
Yeah, but people that died.
It's crazy,
it was
right?
good for business that someone died. I'm like, I don't get this. I go, this was not me. Like, I went to it's a different kind, and I'm not judging one's worse than the other. But, so I'll tell you it's a different world now. I think fentanyl changed the drug world completely.
I think so too. Listen, there are a lot of people out there who are on a college campus, in a high school. They're teenagers who are just experimenting, playing around, which a lot of people did.
That's why you can't do a line of coke anymore.
Right, because you
One
don't
line of
know
coke will
what's
kill you
in
because
it.
fentanyl's in it. That's it. You don't do something because you know it could kill you. But you know what I'm saying? But that's definitely something that I never, when I speak to the clients, I don't get it.
So tell us now where you're at, what your work situation is. You're obviously, now you're a writer, you wrote a book, so.
As Larry David would say, it's a pamphlet. So let's cut
That's come on, let me see. How many pages is that? Come on.
I'm going pamphlet.
It's a book, let me see. Come on, it's a book.
Listen, I'm going with you. I'd rather it be a book.
Oh, come on. It's 90, I don't have my glasses on. It's 100 pages.
Yeah.
That's a book.
100
This
page
is a book, guys. This is a book.
I'll take
It's
it.
100 pages.
All right, thank you.
So tell us where you're at now, what you're doing work-wise.
Okay, I was always a mortgage broker and in the financial. So I doing more toward commercial, pivoting more toward that. Maybe so that's something that I always had as a background. I have a couple private people that I will do private therapy for.
So are you a coach? What is your...
You know something? You know what's funny when people say that? And I think that's hysterical that you said that. Because I think like when you go online, be a coach in 72 hours.
Right.
No, it's not bullshit degrees. Like, you want to call me a coach? I have a master's degree in mental health counseling.
You do?
Right. So
I never knew that.
we're learning about each other.
I guess we are. When did you get that?
Before
Way before?
Before I was introduced to...
Wow.
I had my master's by 26.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know that.
Wait, no. 26. I had my master's degree, mental health counseling. So consultant, like I consider whatever terminology, but that would be what my degree is. But I find it hysterical that it's the blind leading the blind. That's what this industry is.
Can be.
The treatment center is the blind leading the blind. And then if you want to be... my favorite is people, I only deal with affluent clients. So you deal with rich people. So you want a lot of money. So what do you do? People have made like industries out of these like things. So I find it to be, I'm amazed by the industry that you could have a 93% failure rate and have a successful business. There's no other business in the entire world that could do that. That amazes me.
So you're seeing private clients for addiction, for like, what's your specialty?
I would say anxiety is my specialty.
And where can people find you? Like, are you closed? Do you have enough, or
No,
you're?
it's my Instagram, I guess, right? I can
Yeah,
use
go
that.
ahead. Tell everyone where to find you.
At Feit Addiction. You like that?
I like that.
F-E-I-T.
F-E-I-T.
F-E-I-T Addiction, because I'm Craig Feit. So, Feit Addiction. You could DM me, and I would be more than happy to help people. You know what I've been reading a lot about is, you ever read of Milton Erickson?
Of course.
Okay. You know a lot about him? I'm just going down.
Some,
All right,
yeah.
I started reading about him recently because I like the brief. I like brief therapy. I don't think, so I've been going down him a lot. It's very, by the way, I think that people get too comfortable and, you want to help people.
I never want someone to be a professional patient. I tell them that all the
Don't
time.
be a professional patient. That's what like people that want. No, nothing should be like that. If you break your arm, you go to your doctor. When the arm heals, you don't go to the doctor 6 months later and say, "Hey, buddy, how's my arm looking?"
I think this is one of the, and we could probably talk about this topic forever, but I think this is one of the reasons that therapy gets a bad name.
Yeah.
Is there are people who do analysis, which can last a very long time. That's something very, very different.
Psychoanalysis is a different world.
Totally different.
You're dealing with a very affluent clientele.
Right, totally
okay?
different. Yes.
Yes.
When I see people for therapy, I tell them I will be your primary care therapist
Yes.
for your mental health.
Yes.
We resolve what you have going
Yes.
on, right? We may have to go back to the past. We don't want to buy real estate there.
No. Don't even want to rent.
Right. And if you ever need to come back, you come back, no shame. Right? We have a very long lifespan. It's unrealistic to expect that you may need therapy once in your life to help you resolve an issue.
I think what's great, this is what I think about the brief, and this is what I realized. Most people aren't smart. All right? When you think, if I said something to you, you'd be like, of course, Craig, what are you? No, don't think people know anything. I was dealing with adolescents. They had to see me. I was working at the Drug Abuse Treatment Association. So they had to see me because they got in trouble for behavioral and they tested positive for weed. So now they're in a substance abuse thing for months, which is like they have behavioral problems. They're not more than anything. And the adults that saw me got drinking and driving tickets, which I thought was hysterical because I've had a drinking and driving ticket. Okay, so I'm like, no, don't be full of shit. This wasn't the first time you drank and drove. And I realized those people don't want help because they had to be there.
Right.
So what I was realizing was all these people I saw, addiction people are 93% failure rate. The other people had to see it. It wasn't people that wanted to do therapy. I want to, like you said, it's a guide, coach, consultant, therapist. How about like a guide that helps you find what resonates with you and helps you process? That's what someone needs. They're stuck.
Because until you get the internal motivation,
They're stuck.
you're going to be stuck. Whether it's an addiction, whether it's an eating disorder, whether it's a porn addiction, whatever it happens to be, you have to, it's got to come from, that's the mindset. It's got to come from within. 100%, right?
100%.
Right.
Listen, I couldn't get sober for the perfect woman and a child on the way. Or the perfect, la la. So if you're not going to get sober for that, I'll speak for, you have to, something's got to click and realize, it's time.
So you're going to have to keep us posted when
Want to become a bestseller?
book number 2 comes out. No, this one's going to shoot to the top of the charts, and then you're going to have book 2 and book 3 come out. So thank you, Craig Feit, for coming to
Dr.
see
Laura
us
Ellick,
today.
thank you.
It has been amazing.
You're
Don't
awesome.
forget to reach out at Feit
Craig-
Addiction.
Feit Addiction.
Feit
At
Addiction.
Feit Addiction on Instagram. I guess that's the best way.
That's the best way.
Right.
And thanks for joining us for another episode of From Mayhem to Mindset.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks for joining us on From Mayhem to Mindset. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave a 5-star review. It really helps spread the message. Want to dive deeper? Check out my book, Wisdom from the Universe, available now on Amazon. And if you're looking for a speaker to inspire and transform, I'd love to connect. Visit www.lauraellick.com to learn more. Remember, you don't have to just survive, you can thrive. See you next time.